Hey, y'all, Jeremy James here, the Bourbon Realtor, coming at you today from Barstools Bourbon. And today we're going with a request review, Wild Turkey Rare Breed. A couple weeks ago, we did the Kentucky Spirit by Wild Turkey, and immediately I started getting requests for one I haven't done and actually shied away from for a little while. And we're gonna approach it now. So I've been on record before as stating that this one has a little bit more bite to me, and it might be just because the proofing is higher or whatever. This is one of the twin bottles. Actually triplet bottles, because I think the father-son uses the same bottle as the Kentucky Spirit and the Rare Breed. Now, Wild Turkey uses all the same mash bill across the board for them. Last time I incorrectly stated that Wild Turkey actually goes into the barrel at like 125, following the trends of a whole lot of other distillers, but they do not. They actually have a barrel entry proof between 107 and 115, resulting in a much more concentrated flavor with a lot less watered down, coming from that 125 range all the way down to where it's at. This batch here comes in at 116.8, and I'm going to look it up to see what batch number this is. Wild Turkey Rare Breed actually came out in 1991. It accompanied Booker's at the same time, which obviously is a Jim Beam product, but it was in the range where everything was going bigger and we were getting barrel proof and single barrels and everything else. So it was all within that same line. Now, this tends to be one of the higher proof ones. Kentucky Spirit comes in at 101. We also have Wild Turkey 101. You can get some other higher Russell's Reserve stuff and everything else. So, all right, let's crack into it. There is no fresh bottle pop on this one because I have opened this one before, so it has had a little bit of time to open up. We'll see if it's changed or if I've changed. Now, I still maintain that the bottle tends to be a little problematic. And again, it made me a liar. I've had trouble with them dripping in the past, but they're not doing it anymore. So maybe it fixed, maybe it was me. It was probably me. All right, I'm taking a swirl in my Executive Bourbon Steward Glencairn. Color-wise, it looks exactly like what you would expect. Looks just like the Rare Breed, or not the Rare Breed. It looks just like the Kentucky Spirit. Has nice medium amber. A little bit of bronzing in there. Coats the glass really, really nicely. Looks thick. Got some nice kind of waxy legs coming down. Looks good in the glass. All right, let's take a smell. Mild alcohol straight away on the nose. And then citrus and that rye spice dominate. It smells really bright on the nose. A little bit of subtle caramels and sugars. But at this point, not a real oak bomb as far as on the nose. We'll have to see if that becomes, if my senses adjust as we get into it a little bit more. But really citrus and that rye spice. All right, smells good. I like it. Let's see what we've got. All right, so all the time that I've crapped on Wild Turkey Rare Breed, I take it all back. And again, I maintain, I'm not as sure that the bottles change when they open up or if we change over the course of time, where our palates are different from one time to the next. Lately, I'm suggesting more that it's us, that we are the bigger variable than the bourbon. But this is really, really good. A lot of you know, I typically consider the first sip a throwaway sip because palate's not adjusted. You take that first one, you're just trying to see what's going on. But that was really good. Just super rich in caramel. Those sugars are really prevalent. This does remind me of like a bigger proof Kentucky Spirit. It's got a little bit of that alcohol kind of prickle on the tongue as it finishes. But the intensity of those flavors, if you like the flavors of Kentucky Spirit and if you like the flavors of Russell's Reserve, I think you're probably going to like this rare breed. They do have, their brand differences tend to be fairly subtle, fairly nuanced from brand to brand. And so rare breed, Russell's, the Kentucky Spirit, all of those, they're all running the same mash bills, and the differences in barrels and brands typically, or labels I should say, are fairly nuanced in between each one. The differences typically run more with the proofing. As we talked about, Kentucky Spirit comes in at 101. These batches in each of the rare breed batches, and I'll see how many there have been since 1991, they have a unique a unique bottle proofing that's on your label. That's how you can tell them apart. Still getting a lot of that citrus on the nose, like orange zest. Some more of that oakiness is coming through. It's just nice. That rye spice is really coming in. And for those of you who may be new to bourbon and you don't know what we're talking about when I mean spice, and I think we need a different word, I like to typically use herbal. And I don't mean herb like 420 herb, I mean herbal. Like the herbs that you would use in cooking, rather than spice, which a lot of us associate with jalapenos or peppers and that kind of spice, like a pepper spice or something like that, or a cayenne or something along those lines. This has just a little bit of warmth, mouth warming to it. It's nice. I am not getting the bitiness that I typically would associate with rare breed. And I think it's me. I think I adjust. Again, I think humans, we're more changeable and variable than the bourbon. The amount of change that it's had in that little bit of time, and a little bit of space that it's been open, I don't believe would have affected it nearly as much as what I'm experiencing right now. So, guys, just because you took a sip on a bottle once and you didn't really care for it, come back to it, y'all. Come back to it. Give it another shot, because I have left this. I literally had to dust it off and use my dust rag to dust it off because I've been ignoring this one for so long. Because at first it really just didn't hit with me. And now, the herbalness, see, herbal rather than spice. And it's not green like Elijah Craig, like highlighter green. It's not anything like that. This is like fresh herbs. That rye herbalness in it, and I've said herbal way too much, is really coming through, but it is just bathed in the sugary sweetness and caramels and in that toffee. Some of that leather is coming through on the nose now, that blend between the oak and the sugars. And it just has a little bit of warmth to it. It's 116.8, which means it's up there with like Old Forester 1920. Just a little bit of warmth on the tongue. Gosh, it was so me. Oh, the problem has been me all this time. It's not been the whiskey. It's been me. And it's so frustrating that I've ignored this bottle for so long. So, you know, while this review is about Wild Turkey Rare Breed, I think the message of the day is that we're the variable. I think we change more than the whiskey changes. Because I won't be ignoring Rare Breed from now on. It's so good. It's so good. It is so good. The upping of that proof really brings a denseness to the flavor. Brings a little bit of mouth-warming heat to it, but not nearly as much as what we found with the original batch of Russell's Reserve 13, which had almost it had a jalapeno type of heat that you would eat and it would just warm your mouth for a long time. My mouth is still nice and warm. The finish is probably medium to long on this. I'm not getting the grain, but it's just that, well, I say I'm not getting the grain. I'm not getting like corn grain on the nose. I am getting that rye. All right. If you don't have Rare Breed on your wall, on your bar, you need to go get it. This is a buy. You have to have it. And I'm not just doing it to do the, you know, Wild Turkey vertical or horizontal or whatever it is that they call them. I am ashamed that I put it off for so long, and that I thought it was too bitey on the profile. There's nothing wrong with that bottle. The problem was me. All right, buy bar pass. I think you know the answer. It's a buy, along with almost every other brand label from the Wild Turkey stable. Nice, warm, lasting mouthfeel. If you like rich bourbons with depth, with a lot of concentration of flavor, you're going to like Rare Breed. If you like it a little proof down, get the Kentucky Spirit. It's got all the same notes, it's got all the same basic profile at a lower proof, which I think would make it easier for some folks who may be new into bourbon. But if you want that deeper concentration of flavors, it's the Rare Breed. And now we're just going to have to go and do the Rare Breed rye. I didn't want to like it. I didn't like it before. I honestly did not like it. I am on record for saying it. I like it now. Yeah, my life is a lie. All right, y'all. Wild Turkey, Rare Breed, coming in at 116.8. Phenomenal. I don't know if it's the batch or whatever, but it's about the only one I've been drinking on. Go get it. Add it to your bar, 100%. If you like the Wild Turkey profile, you're going to like this. I don't think you're going to have a problem with it one way or the other. I am a converted fan of Wild Turkey Rare Breed, and I apologize to the Russells and all the things that I said before about this bottle and it being too bitey and it wasn't my profile and everything else, because today Today it just slaps. It is really good. All right, y'all. I'm Jeremy James, coming at you with this installment of Barstools and Bourbon. I was wrong. We'll see you all next time.